I should have had a baby with Paris Hilton over Kim Kardashian. You know, Kim was Paris Hilton's assistant.
What's going on with this? That is if I ever go to India outfit. Really?
I should have had a baby with Paris Hilton over Kim Kardashian.
There was a story that came out, a video that was shown saying back in the days when Kim K was Paris Hilton's assistant.
Yeah.
Was it true? Was Kim K Paris's assistant?
Yeah, she used to sleep in my guest room. Yep. And then some weird shit happened. I'm not gonna say what happened, but and then she made it to the master bedroom.
Kanye West just dropped a bombshell on his ex-wife and her bestie, suggesting that Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton might have been swapping with Diddy. And what's even wilder is that there's an alleged video that might have been raided at Diddy's mansion. Now, this theory about Kim and Paris getting it on with Diddy isn't new if you've been paying attention. But things took a whole different turn after Scott Storch recently spoke out. Now, Scott is a producer and songwriter, so he was present at all the big events and behind-the-scenes moments. And now, he didn't just speak casually. He broke down exactly what was going on inside those exclusive early 2000s celebrity circles. And it matched Kanye's narrative way too well. Back in those days, Scott was living on Indian Creek Island, one of the most exclusive spots you could be. Around that same time, Paris Hilton came into the picture. She originally...
And then I sold it like a couple years later to move closer to Disaster, which was... I was safe in Bal Harbor, like... And then I moved to Palm Island, and that's where all of happened. So yeah, Paris came to work with me. We ended up dating and had a relationship and...
linked up with him for music, but their connection didn't stop. There, they ended up dating and got into a full-on relationship. But the biggest takeaway is she opened the door to a whole different side of fame that he hadn't stepped into before. According to Scott, she introduced him to the paparazzi, the non-stop nightlife, and that flashy celebrity energy.
She introduced me to like paparazzi's nightlife, being like the man, Us Weekly, fucking, you know, TMZ, like this whole party life and wild shit like that I never experienced before because I was like in the studio night and day. I was rich. I had every car you can imagine, but they only went from the house to the studio and back. Like friends would come over and like they would go to the club and then they would come back after, and I would ask them how it was. I think I was like nervous to even be cool at that point. And then
everything from being in Us Weekly to popping up on TMZ, he already had the money, the cars, and the luxury life. But she brought him into that public spotlight. Before all that, he was just locked in the studio. He even admitted he used to feel too anxious to act like he belonged in those scenes. But once Paris stepped in, things flipped. That was the moment everything started to change. He said he got caught.
That I got so caught up in that, and it changed who I was. Like I was hanging out with like people that are just not good. Like people that think they're better than others. Like I don't want to call out names, whatever. It's too insulting, but just like Hollywood douchebags, and like you know, you are what you hang out with, and it changed me from being this like innocent, like soulful, like, you know, organic person to like this quest for fame and this quest to like I wasn't even like really that sprung on Paris, but
up in it and even admitted it was a phase where he acted out of character. The rush of Hollywood pulled him in. From there, he found himself surrounded by folks he now describes as people.
A story that came out, a video that was shown saying back in the days when Kim K was Paris Hilton's assistant.
Yeah.
Was it true? Was Kim K Paris's assistant?
Yeah, she used to sleep in my guest room.
Who looked down on others. He didn't name drop anyone, said it would be too disrespectful. But the message was clear that those people ruined who he was at the core. Turned him from a soulful, grounded dude to someone chasing attention. Then came Kim Kardashian. At the time, she was just known as Paris Hilton's closet organizer. But Scott added something that caught everyone.
Yeah, Paris found out, or?
No, it was just like she and I were done, and like I think we are both like had it, and we were like commiserating. What did he say? Karen's she's commiserating at the house from Goodfellas.
Off guard. He said she used to stay in his guest room. That alone was surprising, but what really stood out was how he said something shifted. He didn't go into details, but whatever happened, it led to her no longer being.
She was a super cool girl.
Kim was awesome.
Yeah, like
What was awesome about her?
she was organic and she was just like, you know, eager to like, she wanted to like build her career up. She kind of followed Paris's blueprint with the foreign tag after or whatever. But at that time, she was just a cool kid. And
Being in the guest room. She moved into the master bedroom. A quiet shift said more than he needed to explain. Paris eventually found out, but by then Scott and she were already done, and Kim stepped right into the picture. He called it commiserating. Both of them were down bad, dealing with their own mess.
I got video, dog. A picture.
$1 billion Bugatti.
Yeah, that's Scott Storage, yo.
Who the hell is Scott Storage?
Yo, he's a dude that make all the beats and yo.
Oh, look at his girl. Look at his girl, man.
That's Scott Storage, dog.
Man, look at his girl, homie. Get in the car.
Scott Storage.
And somehow they linked up. Although he gave her credit for being authentic and driven, he said she was organic.
that's my car too behind him. That was my driver that used to carry all my for me.
Mercedes Maybach, I think.
That was 62.
Hungry to make something out of herself and determined to build a career. That's when he said she followed Paris's blueprint, especially when it came to the foreign scene. That there was a playbook, and Kim played it well. Then Scott brought up the Bugatti. He recalled pulling up to the mansion on Washington Avenue in that car, with Kim riding in the passenger seat. But here's where
Kanye flew home last night, and he came back this morning. I want to show you guys what he got me. He got me all of his take back.
Oh, Kim. Oh my God. That's amazing.
things got wild. Scott pointed out that in the video, everybody's attention was on him. Nobody realized that Kim was sitting right beside him, as he put it. That was Kim K, and nobody clocked it at the time.
I should have had a baby with Paris Hilton over Kim Kardashian. You know, Kim was Paris Hilton's assistant.
What's going on with this? That is if I ever go to India outfit. Really?
I should have had a baby with Paris Hilton over Kim Kardashian.
Following behind him was his other ride, a Mercedes Maybach 62 driven by someone Scott referred to as this guy. And according to him, that same guy used to carry all his nose candy. That detail wasn't told like some flex. It was more like a raw look into that world. A glimpse at how fast the game moved and how messy the lines got between fame, indulgence, and straight-up survival.
You get what I'm saying? Think about that. Think about that. The Hilton. You know, the Hilton. Because I think I'm staying in the Hilton right now.
That brings us to what Kanye said. Before Kanye married Kim, he knew what he was getting into. He knew there were tapes, not just the Ray J one, but multiple. Oh, and even to this day, he is out here trying to make sure they don't get leaked, but he is done now. Not too long ago, he was on Twitch, letting viewers eavesdrop while he vented yet again. And this time, he took direct aim at Kim. He reportedly claimed he would have rather had a baby with Paris Hilton than with Kim Kardashian. That line alone sent shockwaves online. He didn't stop there.
Kim's only power is to take my kids. I had a baby with a assistant, bro.
It sucks, you know, when someone doesn't see how different they are. You'll always, hope that you'll see a glimpse of them. And,
He went on to suggest that if he'd had kids with Paris, he'd be sitting on a legacy tied to the Hilton brand. According to him, that could have meant generational wealth. Hotels, real estate, the whole package. But underneath the sarcasm, there was a sense of tension, as if he was still wrestling with the choices that brought him here. At one point, he reportedly mentioned that he wasn't even staying in a Hilton anymore, as if to underline the disconnect between his expectations and his current reality. Right. But here's the thing. The Hilton family hasn't owned their hotel empire since 2007. That's 5 years before I even got with Kim.
I'll never forget Kanye. Not to
And
just,
6 years
dissing
before
Kanye,
they
but
had their
wherever
first
he came
kid.
in,
So really,
to visit
it wasn't
me and
even
Dr.
about
Dre. We were in
ownership.
the studio
It was about
in the middle of
symbolism,
making beats,
about
and we were,
Ye.
kind of interrupted,
Looking
but we were
back,
like, all right,
he
cool,
realizes he
whatever.
played into
And
a
he's like, I
system
need to
he
take a
never
picture
fully
with
controlled.
you guys. So we took a
And now
picture
he's
with
stuck
him.
unpacking the
Cool. He
regret
left.
in front of the world.
Left the building.
Also,
went to, like,
in his
drove
unsettling
somewhere, came back and
interview
said,
with academics,
"My
he admitted
outfit
he
wasn't
didn't
right.
want to
Let me
start a
take
family
another
with Kim
picture." And
after just 2 months of
me and
being
Dre
with
went
her,
together, like,
but claimed it wasn't his decision to make, saying it wasn't in God's plan.
he stormed out
Around
of the
that
studio
same
one
time,
time
reports started
later,
circulating
I
that
told
Kim
him I
was
wasn't
considering
there,
taking
with
legal
Dre, and he
steps
said
to
he
limit
called
his
him the
access
devil.
to their 4
He's
young
like, "You're the
ones.
devil," and he ran
Not
out, like,
necessarily out of
Kanye
spite,
called
but
Dre the
possibly
devil?
because of how unpredictable he had
What
become.
prompted that?
I don't
Kanye wasn't
making
unaware
devil music for
of
him
that.
or something.
He responded
I guess
by
he was
saying
always
Kim's
holding
only real power was the ability to